Hey, this is MassX with a brand new first look at Ash Echoes. Currently, the closed beta test is going on. In the background, you're going to see the beginning of the gameplay and what goes on in this world. Now, this game is probably, I'd consider, not my normal wheelhouse of a game I would play. At first glance, I thought, oh yeah, I'm all in. And then when playing it, though, it definitely has a lot of different pieces to it than what I normally would play. Now, what I mean by that is, well, let's talk about the game at first, okay? This is built on the Unreal Engine, and you can tell it's very fluid, very good gameplay. The graphics, as you can see, are stellar. No question there that they've spent the time and effort in it. It's got, 3D combat, as you can see, which is cool. They position it as a role-playing strategy game. Has a lot of feel like tower defense. Definitely a lot of strategy. You can move your characters around. They really interact with each other once you start getting into your team builds. So there is a lot of strategy involved. Now again, early on you can push through overpowered, but there are sections of it when you get to it that are incredibly challenging. And like I said, it has that tower defense feel, which really is not something that I'm drawn to. But that all aside, graphically and the smoothness and your ability to really plan out how you're going to effectively get past certain areas in the game is pretty remarkable, and I do give them credit. This game actually probably offers a lot to a lot of different sects of players out there, which would probably really enjoy this game. I'm not so sure I see myself picking it up once it releases. I'm going to keep playing it through the closed beta. It is enjoyable. The story isn't bad. I would not say it's stellar, but it's definitely above average. And it is at times very story driven, but you don't have to feel like you have to stick with it if you just want to get to the gameplay. So that's the good news. I know sometimes when you are playing certain games, i.e. one coming out in global, Heaven Burns Red, you really want to read the story with that game. The story is what really envelops you and makes it so enjoyable. Most games aren't like that, so it's something like this, you don't have to necessarily worry about that. If you're more interested in the combat, you like the tactical system of it, then yeah, you can push through it. Now, a lot of what you're seeing is just in the beginning when you're learning how to play the game. But as you can see, you're going to have these terminals that you're going to have to protect. That's where I said you really get that tower defense feel to it. And the characters themselves have very distinct skills. And it's very interesting how they built these characters, because they are actually quite interesting how you can put a team together and what they can do, from your AoE attacks to ones that you actually will work on how you position, as you can see there, and how it's going to attack. So like a particular AoE attack like there, you can move it. Let's say there's more enemies than what you see on the screen right now, and you can move it around to attack those. So you have a full wheelhouse of really being able to control your characters during gameplay. So even though when I say there is auto, a lot of this game is going to be built on how you set up certain attacks. And I can only imagine as you get further and further into the game how more important that will become. And now I've kind of moved forward a bit. When I got further into the game, when I was actually starting to build my own teams, and so you're going to see a different feel in the background and see what they can and can't do from your single attackers. This one, I just have a single monster initially on the field, but they will keep coming in, and you just have to go through. And it is very interesting because, like I said, as you can see, they just keep coming. You're going to be moving your characters around strategically to make sure you can clear the field and protect your terminal, which is what becomes the most important thing in the basic gameplay itself. But like I said, I think the characters are very rich, especially with their skill sets as well as their backgrounds, as you can, start to really develop and build teams in this game. So it's definitely a game I would recommend to people to try, especially if they like strategy games. I think they would be surprised, and this is not what you would expect from your standard gacha game and just auto push through, overpower, move on. This game has a lot of finesse to it that I think will draw a certain sect of players that really enjoy tower defense, strategy. But then you can also see that sect of players that do like those RPG collectors, that like creativity in the characters and their skill sets, and might actually get a kick out of it because graphically it's nice. As you can see how the positioning is, you get that kind of diagonal overhead view, so it allows for you not the over the shoulder view, so you get a good feel for the field in front of you, so you can plan it out strategically. And when you do have main boss battles, when there's one huge boss, it actually plays to a strength of this game that you are now able to really see and interact with that portion of the game when you have those boss battles. And it's less of that quick one-on-one, type setup, and more strategic in those battles with those even just singular boss battles. But the way it's positioning and the camera angles makes it quite enjoyable, actually, and you really begin to appreciate the development of what they're presenting to you. So I do got to give them kudos for that. Like I said, I have no digs on the game. I think it actually plays quite wonderfully. And right back here, I put a little bit of like a boss battle in there, and you can just see what I was talking about. But the point is that I just don't know if it's something I would gravitate to with my time schedule and stuff. To me, I feel like this game would need a little bit more care when you're playing it. And I already have enough games like that where I'm not sure another one would fit right now in my timing. But if I didn't, I could totally see giving this a good shot, because I think it has so much going forward for it. The music's good. I just can't knock it. And this being a closed beta test, they're damn close. I gotta think this game is going to be hitting the market sooner than later, quite honestly, because it's so polished already. It really is. And right now, I just have to think they are just looking for those last bugs, as well as maybe some feedback. They are sending out those questionnaires immediately once you start coming into the game to play it into CBT. So I think they're just looking for those last tweaks or anything that might turn off the public and the player base when you are doing this. But again, this is something that you should really look out for. I think it is a very interesting game to be dropping, and I think it might fill some niches out there that aren't necessarily being filled at the moment, especially with something that's quality like this. So that's my 2 cents on it. In the end, I would definitely give this a shot. If it shows any interest in you, I think you may really find yourself finding maybe a new game that you're really going to love. And a side note, the ultimates for some of these characters, holy mackerel, they are freaking really top notch. And like you're seeing right now, the video cutscenes, they are just really, really good, done well, incredibly clean game. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.